want to go live. I want to
Hey, welcome to the Empower Half Hour. I'm Bradley W. Skinner coming to you from Southwest Wyoming.
And welcome again to the Empower Half Hour. I'm Darrin Peppard coming to you from the worldwide headquarters of Road to Awesome right here in beautiful, blazing hot Sulphur Springs in Colorado.
As hot as it
how's it going tonight, Bradley?
It's so good. I just have to keep reminding myself that even though I'm dealing with this heat, at least I'm not down in Eric Lillis territory.
Yeah, so I've got a comment on there I just dropped in from Jen Perea. So Jen is the high school principal there where Eric lives in Kingman, Arizona, and yeah, it is considerably hotter where they are than what you and I are dealing with. It was like 89 for a high here, and it's brutal. And yeah, it probably didn't get below 89 in Kingman last night. So yeah, and I think. We've also got Shannon joining us, and I have a feeling it's pretty hot in California right now too. So
I imagine so.
Yeah.
Well, we are certainly excited to have. Thank you for all of you that are tuning in and watching tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're definitely going to be relying on comments and some of the discussions for tonight. So just keep that aware. Please continue commenting, especially as we get into some of the topics and things we're going to be discussing today. We really want to make sure that we're keeping that engagement and that involvement. So be ready, because we might be calling upon some of these comments throughout the evening.
Absolutely, yeah. We're gonna. I've got my hand right here, right on the button, ready to click on comments, so we can jump in and have conversation about that. So yes, we're running tonight without a guest, and Frank is, I think, camping in the mountains, or I don't think he's at a basketball game this time, but I know he's got something going on, and So yeah, we've got Frank tonight. So this will actually be really cool because Bradley and I, obviously Bradley and I have an extensive history together and have had countless conversations over the years. And we're just going to see where a conversation takes us tonight. We have zero itinerary for tonight. We just want to just visit and just catch up. And one topic that we did talk about before we kicked off the show together was the Wild Heart Teacher Retreat that our good friend
Steve. You just got back from that last week, correct?
I did. In fact,
tell me
last
about your
week.
Experience.
Yeah. So, oh man, where do I begin? So ours ran Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of us descended upon the Steve and Kelly Wolf compound at midday Sunday, and so for the exception of about 4 people, and we had about 25 people there, all of us stayed at the campground that Sunday night, and it was interesting. We had people from Michigan, people from Arizona, California, Kansas, some other places too, obviously Colorado, Wyoming. We actually had 2 people who live in Sheridan, Wyoming, but they teach across the border in Montana at the on the reservation. So really, really interesting. But that first evening, man, we just started having some real casual conversations, and then one of the guys from Michigan, we dubbed him the fire starter because I've never seen anybody build and light a fire so successful as I did see Jamie do that. But we started a fire in that outdoor fire pit, down below, and we all just sat around the fire, just talking and getting to know each other. And so, I mean, we hadn't even started the retreat, and the relationships are starting to get built, and the trust was starting to get built. And as we went through the process, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, great opportunities to listen to people. I know you probably, told some of your story. I told some of my story, in some of the speaking slots. But man, there was just so much power in being able to be with other people. And I mean, I could go on and on and on, but I will say this, what I learned, man, I learned so much. I'm going to say 2 things that I learned. First and foremost, all of this crap, all of this garbage, all of what I was carrying on my shoulders, I wasn't alone, man. I wasn't even close to alone. Everybody has gone through some absolute hell for the last 16 months. And so that was one thing. And then the second thing, sometimes you got to unplug. You just flat got to unplug. And when you do that, For me, it was this amazing opportunity to just scrape away everything that's not bringing me joy. And I'm really refocused right now on the things that bring me joy, the things that feed my passion, that you'll get the reference, that are medicine to me. That's what I'm going to focus on. So what about your experience?
Well, you bring up a really good point, which actually I wanted to make sure that I asked you this question, but also to our viewers, because you said the key word that you brought up, you said carry. And that was mentioned by several individuals. They didn't realize until they were at this retreat and we were kind of decompressing and letting some things go. They said they didn't realize just how much weight they were carrying over this last year. And that was a repeated element, even though it wasn't said in group moments, it was talked about individually. And so my first question is, what do we do? So those of you that are, at home, our fellow educators, how do you deal with that? How do you let go sometimes of just all this weight that you're carrying? Because, and I think for me, it comes from the fact that we care. We care so much about our students. We care about people that sometimes that caring ends up adding a lot of weight to what we're trying to handle and do on our own. So what do you do about that? How do you manage that? How do you take care of it? And how do you, as Darrin said, sometimes you got to let stuff go. But what does that actually look like? Darrin, how would you respond to that?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, it's hard. I put it up a second ago, with Jen Perea saying amen. I mean, I know she's a high school principal. I mean, holy cow. I know what Eric went through. Actually, Eric was at the Wild Heart retreat, teacher retreat with me, her superintendent. And and it's so difficult because you're right. I mean, every one of us is programmed to be a giver and to be a healer and we don't stop and do that for ourselves. And, you wouldn't think, going for a hike on Pikes Peak or fly fishing like you did, or something like that would help you to just get your mind centered correctly. I'll be honest with you. I see Valerie just popped on here. Valerie was there too. And I'm about to tell a story. Valerie was there for this particular story. We went on a hike. We hiked the crags, Valerie, myself, Tom Cody, and then two others, a gal named Angie McDonald, who, by the way, put on Kevin Honeycutt's hat, and the hat has magic powers. It really does. I think it's actually Frosty the Snowman's hat, because Angie became a rock star at karaoke that night with Kevin's hat on. It was just unbelievable. And then, of course, Steve took us up this hike. But one of the things that was said, and I don't remember if it was Steve or if it was Tom who said it, but, when you think about a hike and you think about what's, when you're going up a really steep hike, when you go on your own, it feels really hard. When you're with others, it might be hard, but it's not as hard. So I think the most important thing, that this is a very long-winded answer to your question, but I think, yes, we have to learn to let go, but we need to do it with others. We cannot do it in isolation. It is so important that we do that. And I know I was able to unload some of my baggage with Val, and Val, I know, unloaded some baggage with me. And it was very, very important time. So here, Julie, hi, Julie. Great thought here too, of just writing notes of gratitude.
And she mentions a good point, that togetherness, as you said as well. For me, a lot of it, in being at that retreat, just the knowledge of knowing that I wasn't alone lifted a lot of that burden. I think I have a very open door policy here at my school. I mean, anybody that wants to come in can. I've even, done some live streaming of my lessons, and during my teacher appreciation week, I let family members tune in so they can see what's going on in our classrooms, what the kids are doing. I always feel open, but still, even in that openness, sometimes I feel like I'm alone in some of the challenges I'm facing, and I don't take the opportunity to reach out to others as I should. And so being able to hear other people's stories and realize that, look, I'm not alone. Others are dealing with the same challenges, and I can rely on them. I can learn from them. We can lift each other up is a big part of it, and it really helped out quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think Shannon's hitting it on the head here too with, you've got to be vulnerable, and you've got to be willing to own it. And Shannon, I think that was something also for me that kind of came out of this retreat. There was an activity that Kelly had all of us do, and it was hard, but she gave us a sheet of paper and just said, write down everything that this year cost you, and then write down what are the things you need to let go of. And this was a day we had from 9 to 2 for what Steve just referred to as you do you time. So that was when we went and did our hike on the crags, probably when you went and did some fly fishing or Garden of the Gods. But I every now and again, I'd pull that sheet of paper out and I'd write something more down and write something more down and write something more down. And I think that for me, Bradlee, it really helped me take some ownership of, and I guess just simply acknowledge the things that this year cost me and that it cost others. And, and then of course, at the end of the night, when we all shared those with each other and shared, here's bearing my soul, and then wad it up and throw it in the fire to truly let go of it. Man, that was a powerful moment.
Yeah. I'm going to put into the comments here video. Those of you that haven't seen it, so the Wild Heart Teacher Retreat, I was able to make a little promotional video to talk a little bit about what it was. We interviewed Steve, and it was awesome. So I'll throw that really quick into the comments. You guys can take a look at that later. But yeah, it was just so many great things about that retreat. I can't talk about it enough.
I know. we could do like 6 back-to-back shows just on that. And like always, we say the show flies by and we're almost 15 minutes in. So, just to maybe shift a little bit out of this, we got some great comments, on things about self-care and about, taking that accountability and some of those things. Melissa with some comments about, her Renaissance crew taking care of people. Definitely check out this video. Bradlee did a brilliant job on it. Some great stuff from Steve Wolf in there. Just really, honestly, Steve just pouring out his heart about why Wild Heart Teacher. And it's an amazing thing. There's still 3 retreats to go. You can still go. Just hit up the Wild Heart Teacher Facebook page. Choose one of those dates. It's $50, folks. It's $50 to go do this. I mean, you got to get yourself there, but it's $50. I had a steak one night that I would have paid $50 for.
No kidding. Yeah, we went to a restaurant. Just that steak was $50.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
we got that one meal.
Oh my goodness, it was fantastic. And I don't know what else you guys had. The night before, we had like chicken cordon bleu, and it was amazing. So yeah.
So you mentioned that discussion about self-care, but with teachers, so often it comes up during the summers. So it's almost as though a lot of times that we're inadvertently saying to educators, suffer for the majority of the year and then enjoy your summer. And I know that's not the message that we're sending, but sometimes it seems like that's the message we're receiving, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So when it comes to that self-care, what should we be doing during the school year? What should we be doing on a monthly, on a weekly, on a daily basis to make sure that we're not suffering in silence for the majority of the time? And then, because if that's the case, how are you going to enjoy your summer? You won't.
Right. Yeah. Well, so I'll say this. I just had a comment from her pulled up. I had a great conversation with Lisa yesterday. We spent almost an hour on the phone. Got to meet her daughter. Or on Zoom rather. Got to meet her daughter, meet her husband. It was wonderful. But as we were having conversation, Lisa said something that was so powerful. I made her stop so I could write it down. And she's given me permission to use the quote. I'm going to probably tweet out that quote tomorrow, but I'm going to share it right now because I think it just fits right now. I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't have it written down right in front of me. But in essence, what Lisa said was, you cannot self-care your way out of a toxic situation, but your self-care will help you advocate in those toxic situations.
That's fantastic. That's one of those things where it's like watching a a masterpiece movie, you're like, how have I not seen this yet?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those quotes. I'm like, that would have been helpful like 8 years ago. How have I not heard this before?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I won't tell Lisa's story behind it, but when she said that, I'm like, seriously, Lisa, stop. I have to write that down. That was so powerful. And, you know, when we find ourselves in those situations, whether it's toxic or even just exactly like you were talking about, you know, where the unintended message, or even maybe sometimes it's intended, I don't know, is, you know what, absolutely work your face off for the next 9 months, and then you can just, you know, go turn into a vegetable, you know, for a couple months. And that's just not healthy, man. I mean, it is 100% not healthy.
It's not. It's not emotionally or mentally healthy, but it's also not physically healthy for you as well. To think that the as we talked about, that weight that we're carrying, that mental aspect of education, if we're allowing all those things to weigh upon us, and to think that it's not going to affect us physically, is completely a flawed theory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, you know. So obviously, you know, I'm in the process of transitioning out of my superintendent role, and I'm not in the office hardly at all. Hardly have been there for the last couple of months, and I was in today, you know, completing some evaluations and some of those kinds of things. And my HR director said, "You look amazing." And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, "I don't think I've ever seen you this like stress-free." And I don't say that to say, hey, I'm stress-free, because I'm not. But I think it speaks to, we can't just simply say, take the summer to decompress. We need that time in other spaces, and we need to, I don't know the answer right now, but I think that is an incredible leadership opportunity, not just for school administrators. It's got to come from within the ranks. It's got to come from, you know, from district leaders. It's got to be everybody together. Let's come together and say, how do we take the best care of our educators we possibly can? Because otherwise we can't take the best care of our kids, right?
Exactly. I think just even the power of checking in on each other. And of course, a lot of our viewers are going to know this individual. Phil Campbell is, I swear that guy is clairvoyant. That on the days where I'm struggling the most, where I've had the most difficult challenges, I'll just get a message from him just saying, hey, just checking in. How are you doing? I'm like, how do you always know exactly when I need this? But he does. And just having that little check-in, or even if it's just the opportunity of going down the hall and dropping in on another teacher and just checking, hey, how are things going? You all right? Want to grab some lunch? Let's talk. You know, just those little moments can make a huge difference in your day, in your week, in your month, even the whole school year. It really adds up, and just knowing that people are there to help, to support, and that they care about you and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, you know, it's interesting, you know, we started by talking about, you know, I've discovered I was not the only one. I just discovered again, I'm not the only one, because somehow PC does that to me too. You know, yeah, he's got, I don't know, he's got a sixth sense that he just knows when somebody in his tribe is having a little bit of a struggle, and you're going to get a text from him.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Without question, man. It's, oh man. So we've got some comments around some of the things people are doing, like Val going fishing, and you know, Lisa's at a baseball game tonight, and we appreciate everybody jumping in still. You know, here it is June, and it could be easy for all of us to just say, you know, let's just unplug like I did last week, even though I still did the show from the principal's office, which was fun. But you know, everybody's here. But there's also some fun things happening in the summer. So we were talking a little bit before we came on. I mean, obviously, something that we both think is an amazing step in our country, which is having Juneteenth actually recognized as a federal holiday. You know, that's yeah.
The last federal holiday, I still remember when 1983. I was 8 years old when the last time that they made a new federal holiday with Martin Luther King observance. And that, I mean, and to think, I mean, that's been a long time since the last decision, but they have both been the right decision. I'm so glad that this is happening. This is a wonderful wonderful, beautiful thing. If we're going to celebrate something today, that's what I'm celebrating. This is a wonderful, wonderful step.
Yeah. That is an amazing step forward in our country, especially right now. I mean, just some of the challenges we are faced with in our country to take that step. I definitely applaud all of our members of Congress for stepping up and getting that right. That's a great thing. So self-care, not to veer away from that, but Jen Pereira's got the greatest answer I've ever seen for self-care. I mean, here you go. You're watching the show in the pedicure chair. I mean, that is just well done, Jen.
I was going to try that today, but they wouldn't let me be filming at the same time. So.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a logical reason. Yeah. What are some of the things that are happening? I mean, I've seen, gosh, there's so many cool things happen with your daughters, and you guys are just like wedding after wedding after wedding after wedding. I mean,
wedding season is awesome. Yeah. That's a question that we have a lot because for those viewers that don't know, during the summers, I do own a music entertainment DJ service business. We employ several individuals, and our specialty is weddings. And so when people are like, well, shouldn't you just be taking the summer off and enjoying your time? And it's like, well, it is. This is something I enjoy. Melissa and I, a few years ago, really dove into really getting this business up and off the ground. We've become one of the largest in the entire state of Wyoming. We're number one in customer service and satisfaction and ratings, but mainly because our specialty is weddings. And the reason being that is, one, we get to celebrate people on their best day. They're here in this beautiful union, and we get to be a part of that. Like, what's not to love? Also, even as wonderful as our wedding was, because we were married together, it didn't run smooth. It wasn't the greatest thing. It was a pretty rough and stressful and ugly day. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it was rough. And so every time that we meet with new clients or even prospective clients, we're always saying that's our main goal, is that we want your wedding to be as unique as you are as a couple. We want it to be special and special celebration for each of them. So we take all the things that we learned from how bad our wedding went to make sure that none of those things happen for any of our clients. And it's just awesome. We love it. I mean, we're super booked up until September, but we have fun every single week. And it just reminds us of all the things that we love about weddings and about each other, and couldn't be happier.
Yeah. Man, if you've ever had a chance to catch any of the DJ Phony Stark act, it's not even an act. It's just you being you. I mean, it is so incredible. I do have to ask, the whole DJ Phony Stark thing is the Tony Stark look. Are you getting ready to clean that up, or are we going for DJ Tony Stark when? Oh, okay. So I was thinking maybe our next Avengers movie, when Tony Stark comes back, because let's all be honest, he's gonna come back. Maybe he's gonna have this I've been in a cave for 4 years look, and that's what you're going for. But I don't know.
Now
tomorrow it goes, huh?
Yeah, we're in full swing now, so I get to we cutting the hair and getting rid of the beard and going back with the look. So yeah. Steve Wolf could not stop talking about your man bun. Just for the record, he just, I don't know, maybe because he can't grow one of those. But, at the retreat, I had my hair up and had it up in a man bun.
That's fantastic.
Because it was windy. I had to keep it up out of my face. Couldn't have it.
We finally got to good weather. Yeah, he said your weather was terrible. The second group, the weather wasn't any good, and we didn't get rain. We had a couple of wind gusts, but we just had some amazing weather. So that was perfect. So
the other question that you asked about Emily, our middle daughter Emily, she is going to be, she actually has her interview portions tomorrow, and then the finals are next week. She is representing the state of Wyoming in the Distinguished Young Women of America scholarship program, and it is all virtual this year. And unfortunately, because we miss out on a trip to Alabama for nationals, but she's really excited. She's got most of her stuff already recorded and submitted into the judges. So the talent portion's been done, self-expression's been done. So interviews are live tomorrow, and then they'll have them in the finals, whatever that looks like, is next week. So yeah.
That's outstanding. You know, she's
excited about it.
Yeah. All three of your daughters are just amazing. But hey, best of luck to Emily. I hope it goes well. I'm sure she didn't do it, but there had to be a backup plan on talent for, maybe do an episode of Bradlee and Emily taste, weird foods.
We actually have one tonight.
Oh, that's outstanding. I cannot wait. This right here that Josh just shared, I think is just outstanding. I mean, just, kind of like the traveling gnome idea. Yeah. What a great way, a unique way to tell your school story by taking, stuffed mascots around. And that is just, man, Josh, congratulations, man. This is awesome. I love this one right here. I really love it.
Thanks for sharing. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this idea too, just for the record, but I know you got to get it done soon. So,
Well, you remember the last time that I had somebody, live in front of an audience cut my hair?
I do. I was there. Yeah.
So yeah, that was 2015. 2015 at the Make-A-Wish rally. They got the clippers out, and Darrin shaved my head bald.
Yeah. Yeah, but the kids raised a boatload of money for Make-A-Wish, so it was worthwhile for Bradlee to briefly look like I do. So yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, that's a blast from the past right there, man. That's 6 years ago. Seems like yesterday, but it's 6 years ago. So yeah,
wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
yeah.
Melissa.
Well, holy cow, man! It's 28 after. It's see if I can get to the banners over here. And dun 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 dun. Time for final thoughts.
Awesome.
And I had the anchor last week, so I will go first. And I'm going to go first with a comment from earlier in the show, and I appreciated it. And Julie, I did not miss it one bit. So I dropped a pep talk earlier in the week, dropped something else with a hashtag be a better human. And of course, the pep talk was be a better human. Actually just recorded another one that I'm going to drop in the morning. That's like the next step in be a better human. And I gotta give a big shout out and a big thank you to Val. I know Valerie's on here, and as we were on our hike, I had a conversation with her and with Tom about I want to create another podcast that's just me, just pretty much just solo, probably not having guests, but I don't want to necessarily just make it about education. We talk about education all the time, and I think that's fantastic. And tonight, wow, what a great conversation about education, and it's just about us as people. But I feel so strongly right now, and I've been so disgusted for quite some time. And I just feel like every single one of us, if we just do one thing, if we try to just get 1% better every day as a human being, just imagine how amazing this world would be. We've taken a lot of steps backwards as human beings. And my challenge right now, my challenge going forward, my challenge continuing, and I think this is where this podcast is going to go. I haven't exactly figured it out, but let's just be a better human. That to me, if we just focus on that, if we just try to be better human beings, man, the sky's the limit for us. So that's my final thought.
I'll follow that up with saying that we know from experience that facing challenges makes you better. If you want to be a better hitter in baseball, you have to face better pitchers. If you want to be a better tennis player, you need to face people of a better caliber. That's how you improve, is by challenging yourself to do better. So if you want to be a better person, surround yourself with better people. Your circle should be supportive, not jealous. Your circle should be positive, not toxic. Your circle should be everything that you need it to be to make you a better person. So whether that's in your own circle, within your community, within your your local sphere, or even if it's in more of a virtual setting like this, people that you may not see all the time, but you still associate with, you still communicate with. Making that circle of people around you one full of better people is going to make you a better person. You mentioned Val. I was looking through some old photos just the other day, and I found a picture from Jocelyn's Renaissance National Conference where Val and I took a selfie together. That was back in 2017. And that was the last time I actually had the beard too. And just seeing that picture brought so much joy, because I'm like, this is somebody in my circle that's a better person, that because I know them, I'm a better person. And a lot of those, Steve, another one of those individuals, Phil, who we mentioned earlier. There's so many people that I'm grateful that I associate with, because the fact that I'm a better person because of their influence on my life. And I wouldn't be who I am without those influences. I wouldn't be challenged to look at some of the problems that I might have with myself as an individual, but with those individuals surrounding me, I'm able to see where some of those weaknesses are, and I know I have the support system to make those weaknesses strengths. And so I'm going to say, following up with Darrin and being a better person, make sure you surround yourself with better people, and you're on the right track.
And there you have it. That, my friend, I will say it, is a kick-ass show.
This was fun.
Love you, brother. Yeah.
Love you, man.
So appreciate
Thank you,
everybody. All the comments. Holy cow, what a great night. Yeah. So until next week, have a road awesome week.
We'll see you then.